G'day guys, just another vlog here. Hope you're all doing well. It's going to be a good day. Got a few things to do. Going to go get a coffee first because I can't start the day without a coffee and I've got no milk here. So I'm going to take the JZX out, go grab a coffee from town and go pick up some supplies for today's job. Hopefully get a wideband gauge in sometime today or maybe tomorrow because I do have to get a bung put in the exhaust as well for the sensor. So I'll just do a bit of a video of how the install goes. We're going to pretty much both learn together how to put this in because I've never done it. I've only put normal kind of gauges in, boost gauges and battery gauges and that kind of stuff. So it's going to be interesting. And yeah, I had a really great time at Summernats with my mates. It was really fun. I hope you enjoyed those videos. I'll go to some more car events soon, hopefully get more footage of stuff like that. Yeah, I've had a shave too, so I might look a bit different on camera than I have done in the past. But let's get this day started. Cold start time. As you already know from one of my past posts, I've put in my boost gauge. So I've got the same disc for the wideband, but yeah, I want to install them up this pillar. So I brought this universal cheap eBay pillar holder gauge thing. Doesn't actually fit too bad. So I'm going to work out how to put that on, maybe screw it, maybe glue it. I don't really mind ruining this because I know I can get another one. But yeah, I would like it similar colour to that, hopefully. So I'll get a grey and spray paint this maybe. It might make it look a bit neater and more factory. Coffee. Yeah, so I came down to the local exhaust shop and they could get it on the lift straight away for me. So I'm getting the bung put in today so then I can do it all nice and quick. She's up on the lift. I had a quick look under it. Doesn't look like there's too much damage or wear on components. A couple little cracks here and there, maybe on some bushes, but nothing that's unexpected from an older car. Alrighty, back here in the shed looking at the car, trying to work out where I would run some wires, especially from the sensor now that the sensor's already in the car, which I didn't expect to get done today, so that was awesome. It's very cheap, I was happy with that. I was hoping I could go through the firewall over here, but with all the ABS stuff and the brake booster and everything, there is a grommet like way down in the bottom there. There's one really high here, but I think it's too high, and that one's too hard to get to unless I remove all this. Then I do have one over this side behind the battery, which is right there, which is where I've run my boost line before. That's where that runs. But again, the exhaust is on this side of the car. I'll have to run the cable all the way over the back, across, in, then back through the dash and this way. Don't know if I've got enough wire and it's going to be real messy, so I don't like that idea. I've pulled some of the dash apart. I've got to pull this panel off under here yet. This is where I wire it to because that's where I've wired my boost gauge to. But I'm thinking about coming through the tunnel and somehow getting the cable up through there because the exhaust is right here and so is the sensor. So if I can just come up through here, in and up to where I want to put the gauges, it'll make life a lot easier. I'm not too sure about this thing. The gauges kind of sit offset and face upwards away from me a little bit, so I don't like the angle. I don't know how I'm going to secure this. I was going to glue it, but I don't know. I've brought some paint and everything to paint it, but of course I didn't get a receipt, and I don't feel like painting it now. I feel like getting other holders and just screwing them to this. I think that big holder will sit funny and look messy, and I won't get it right. And I don't really want to ruin this and have glue all over it. Don't like it, pull it off, and then want to put other things in. So I know that Autometer do some really nice gauges that'll just screw to here. I have them in my Patrol. I'm thinking it might be easier just to buy them and screw them straight on, and that way I can get them in a nice like level position and adjust them to where I want them. And I won't have this big bulky thing in the way. I can literally see that's the plug there, that's the end of the sensor that I've got to connect to. So the way it's just sitting in there at the moment is directly under the tunnel. So I think I should be able to cable tie it in and around some of the gearbox and clips that are already there, and hopefully run it up through here. I might just sit it through here where the bolts go rather than drilling a hole in this. Don't know, I like doing things simple and not cutting everything apart. So I'll give that a go. I should be able to keep it away from the drive shaft and make sure it's not going to get tangled up. Secure it nicely, and that way I don't have to run it all the way backwards and forwards across the dash and whatnot, and in the engine bay, so it'll look nicer and neater. No one will see it. Pulled all this apart. As you can see, this is a mess. I've got cut wires. These are the only two ones I've put in. I know what they are, that's fine. But then I've got these, which went to this switch. Don't know what they control. And whatever they do, they seem to... There's an earth down here I use. But if they're connected, this earth ends up having a positive feed, which is really weird. So best to leave these disconnected. I've got factory plugs laying around everywhere. Things have been hacked. There's all this stuff put in. I think they're for the foggies, and a whole box up here that I have no idea what it does. I think it's for the foggies, but it's just a mess. It's been hacked by other people. Definitely want to tidy this up one day. But for now, this here is what I put in. I found a accessory wire, so that'll give me my power for the gauge, which is what's running for my boost gauge. That's what powers it. And that's just the earth. So I'm just going to redo this earth down in here. The rest of these earths, because I've got that working again, because I've unplugged these weird things. But yeah, so that's all I'm going to do is just connect into this. That's easy. That just unscrews. I can plug it in. I'm going to do a better one of these terminals, because I brought new ones. That's just shit. And I'll just probably put them all on the one terminal, so it'll just go straight on that screw down there. And that'll give me my power for my gauge. Always, guys, too, it's very good to disconnect the negative terminal when doing wiring. I'm not going to do it because I'm a risk taker and probably a bit of an idiot, but I know exactly where my earth and my power is, and there's no power going through that wire while I have no key in the ignition. So I'm not going to disconnect it because I can't be bothered resetting all my stereo and all the other stuff that comes along with it. But yeah, I highly suggest doing it if you've never really done wiring before. I love how easy these Japanese cars pull apart compared to my other cars I've worked on, but that cable's just sitting in there now. I've got it through the dash. It's excessively long, but that doesn't matter. I'll just tidy it up and cable tie it all back. So yeah, all I've got to do is put the red wire to this in here and the black to that earth, like I said, and I'll have power to my gauge. So that's really simple. And I know these are cheap and shitty. They're not exactly the greatest, but I like them for adding in things later. I know it's a power source for accessories, so I just got to undo the screw, put in the wire, and it's done. Alrighty, I went back to using this earth because that earth down there, I have no idea. It's just when I disconnected the shit that was already there, it isn't an earth anymore, so don't know what's going on. I didn't do any of that wiring. It's a bit frustrating, but I will get it fixed. So both gauges are in, to power, to earth, and I have the air fuel ratio working. Obviously it just needs a sensor now. Also, the harness you get with it has heaps of other colours and wires, so they're not needed. So all I needed, like I said, was 12 volt red power and an earth. So these here are for optional extras like data loggers and display screens. I don't need them, so I'll just tuck them back into the harness like I have here and secure it all the way and leave them there in case I need them in the future. As you can see here, it needs 12 volt switched and earth, and all the ones labelled with 2 stars are optional, so it's for optional series output, optional analog data logger, and that's connected with AMNet, which must be a different kind of harness they have. Other than that, you just need your sensor wire and the red and the black. Nice and easy. Thing I will say is, and definitely do it, is use jack stands when working under a car, as well as leave the jack under it if you can. I'm definitely doing that. I'm not going to cut corners like I did with disconnecting the battery, because that just gives you a little zap and maybe melts some harnesses. This is life-saving, so please do it, guys. Car landing on you would not be fun. Alrighty, I've just tucked the excess wiring back through here. It just pops up through this. I've got to tighten it down yet, but it's nicely pulled against and above the gearbox, and it's got no chance of rubbing on stuff. It's tucked away good, and it all works. I did put my key in and test it. It's fine. So I'm just going to put everything back together, and then I'll do a little bit of a video on how it looks. So I haven't got holders yet, but I'm going to work something out this afternoon. Turn it on, it all works. So the boost gauge is still working, this is warming up. Takes a little while, I believe. There we go. Car's still a bit cold, but she works. I'm happy with that. It was a pretty easy install. Alrighty, I've marked out the second one. I've already got the first one, so I just sort of adjusted them in the car, marked them. I've screwed that one in and then adjusted this one to suit, and I just got to put some more screws in this one. And yeah, I'm going to have just metal mounted holders, much better than that cheap eBay thing I bought. And just like that, the gauges are in. So yeah, screwed in, mounted. These look fantastic. Heaps better than having a big bulky thing. Well, this thing in particular, I was going to paint it grey, but it just wouldn't have been neat. I would have had to glue all around the edges and seal it up, and yeah, they're heaps tidier. And that way I can sort of face them directly at me rather than sort of facing, they're going to face uphill a little bit. So these can be adjusted to where I want them. Heaps better. Anyway, we'll start them up, see how they look. So yeah, gauges are running through their things. So yeah, it's all good. Alright, the boost gauge just wasn't working, it kept bringing up sensor alarm. So pretty much I had the power from this one plugged into that one and the power into that one. So this one incorporates the sensor in it. So that's why it didn't pick the sensor up. That's all it was, swap them around. Now it's got boost and it's doing its thing with the air fuel ratio. Yep, so full negative bar boost, it's heating up. They look really good, especially the air fuel ratio gauge. So yeah, it's all working. AFRs and boost, and it looks beautiful. Nicely clean install, matches everything. Yeah, so that's it, guys. They work good. I fixed it up in the end. They look so nice and tidy. Definitely happy with that. So yeah, thanks for watching again, and subscribe, like, share, comment, do all that. I'm really happy that I've got 50 subscribers now. I didn't think this channel would really go anywhere that quick, but after a few videos last weekend and heaps of views, it definitely went up. So I'm stoked with that. Thanks very much. Enjoy watching. I'm going to make some more exciting videos soon.